Hey everybody, it's Dr. Ogburn, Dr. O for short. Thanks for watching my video. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Today I want to talk about you, not you in a I want to learn about who you are. Rather, I want you to reflect, to think about the real you, the person you see in the mirror, and not just from a physical perspective, but from a deep, almost introspective. Who are you at your core? I want to talk to you about this today based on noticing a trend in some people I've met, come across, talked to on the phone. In these cases, the people, while they seem like they know who they are, the more I hung around them and just upon further review of our dealings, they it appeared they have no true identity or self concept. They were the combination of the people that they were around, the ideas of those others. And just recently, kind of reflecting on those conversations, I wonder how people define themselves and define who they are. And that's what today's topic revolves around, answering the question of who are you? Who do you want to be? It's to get you to think, to reflect on this question. So who are you? Do you recognize the person you see in the mirror when it's just you and that mirror? Or do you see a combination of other people's plan, their ideas for you, what you are, what you should be, their words that they've uttered to you? And those could be positive or negative words. Are you the summation or combination of people you're around? Are you the person that tries to be what everyone wants you to be? Any of this could cause you to set aside who you are and who you were born to be, who you would otherwise be if you weren't trying to be what others wanted you to be. So maybe you are the person who takes on the characteristics of those you frequently hang around with. Looking in a mirror in this particular case, it'll actually show you them. It won't show you you. Perhaps you are that person that mimics permanently mimics those you strive to be, such as your family member or celebrity. Maybe you're even maybe who you are at your core is someone that's always changing your core because you have no foundation to stand on. You are whoever you're hanging around with at that particular time. In this cases like that, the person who you see in the mirror is actually no one, yet it's everyone. So again, asking the question, who do you see when you look in the mirror? I want you to take a good look in that mirror to see who you are. You may think you know the answer to this question, but having an answer doesn't mean it's the right answer. Some of us, in my experiences, some of us don't have a true grasp or understanding of who we are. We look in the mirror and like what we project, what we show others, what we and who we think we are, but it's not who we truly are. We develop some type of concept of who we'd like to be, so we have an answer to that question of who am I? This concept really is not based on who we are, rather it's based on who we plan on being around that day. And what I've noticed most is that some of us we don't have a true understanding of who we are because other people are telling us who we should be. They are creating, or in some cases, they have already created our self concept, but in their image. Now you don't want to. I say you don't want to, but it's more like I don't think you should want to. You shouldn't want your self concept to largely be driven by the belief or the responses, ideas, or reaction of others. Let me say that again. You don't want to you don't want your self concept to largely be driven or impacted by the belief, the responses, the ideas, or the reaction of others. Going a little further, let's define what self concept is in a way that I'm using it. The self concept is defined as a term can be defined as the way people think about, evaluate, or perceive themselves. You shouldn't want the opinion or beliefs of others to drive your answer to the question of who am I? You risk their opinions influencing you. And that's okay at times. It may be okay in the case if that influence, especially if it's positive. But as we have a tendency, it seems, to allow what others say about us take hold in our thinking and our decision making, informing who we are, and that can be dangerous. It can be dangerous if we aren't careful because before you know it, you aren't you anymore. You aren't you anymore. You're them. You are those who you allow to influence you, especially in a negative way. I've met some people, come across some people, and they were honest with me and told me that they looked in the mirror before and they didn't see themselves. They saw what other people wanted to be. And I told them, I'm telling you. So, in a sense, they didn't exist. Now, if you want to avoid and or decrease the chance of being the summation of what others want you to be, you need to ensure you develop a strong anchor. I like to think of a person's identity as their anchor, like an anchor on a boat. And by the way, there are many ways you can define terms. I define self concept. I'm defining about the defined identity here. Different researchers, theorists out there, but it's important to know how I'm using the word. I'm speaking from an American Psychological Association or APA perspective when I'm using the word identity here. And the APA defines identity as the individual's sense of self, defined in part by a set of psychological and interpersonal characteristics not wholly shared with any other person. I'm going to read that again. I wrote it down here. Identity is defined as an individual's sense of self, defined in part by a set of psychological and interpersonal characteristics not wholly shared with any other person. This is also referred to as personal identity. Personal identity. Anyway, back to the anchor analogy for those boaters out there. The lighter your anchor, the more likely your boat will be able to sway and even blow away. But the heavier your anchor, the harder it is to move that boat. In a sense, the stronger your identity, the stronger you actually believe in yourself and who you are, the likelier you can withstand outside influence or the opinion of others. Now, you also want your self concept to be beyond the constraints of your immediate context or situation. In other words, you need to ground who you are, create and sustain who you are, no matter the influence of other people around you. For instance, if you're that type that doesn't smoke, then don't smoke regardless of the number of family, friends, peers around you that are smoking. If you're the type that go to the gym 4 to 5 times a week, be that person no matter what. Only going to the gym based on what other people are doing is being who they are, not who you are. And I hope you get what I'm saying. Still be you. Don't let the impact or the influence of others shape who you are. Don't let other people dictate you. Don't let them dictate your identity, your self concept. You have to define who you are. And if you don't define who you are, other people will. Sure, you may have heard something like that before. If you don't define who you are, others will. Other people will tell you who you are through their words, their behavior, and how they act around you. On that note, watch out for people who who don't tell you the truth about you. Now, some people may go along with you for a variety of reasons, such as maybe you're popular, or they don't tell you the truth because of your association with other people. In these cases, they may tell you what you want to hear, kind of like a yes man or yes person. And unfortunately, or consequently, you may think you are something in part due to what those people are telling you. And those people are telling you what you want to hear. And it kind of reminds me of that behavior reminds me of a response bias where people will answer questions, so like in an interview, surveys. They will answer questions a certain way if they think there's a negative consequence to their true feelings or answer. And they give the answer that they think you want to hear. It's like a social desirability bias. You will get socially accepted responses instead of sincere responses. It reminds me of that type of bias. So are there people in your life just telling you what you want to hear because they are afraid of saying something else? I've met I've met some people who don't think this is the case for them. They say because as they've related to me, it's not just one person uh, that says some of these things that they want to hear. They say and they believe because there are multiple people telling them or saying the same thing that, well, all of them can't be yes men or yes people. And to them, I say, what does that matter? Or so what? There is a phenomenon called groupthink, and which is when a group of people they go along with or conform to sometimes irrational or non-optimal beliefs or agenda. They go along with it even if they don't agree because belonging to that group is so important. I tell them that this could excuse me that this could very well be what's happening in their life, that the people around them could be succumbing to what others want you to be, and mainly because they're afraid of not belonging. I say the same thing to you're watching this right now. Say the same thing to you. Be careful that this is not happening to you. People going along with what others say about you. It could be because of they're afraid of disagreeing. So be sure to look up what groupthink is, the dangers of it. Spoke kind of on the surface level about it here. Anyway, there are many reasons why people could be telling you the things that you want to hear. Let's say they want something from you, which is okay if it's not one sided, if it's not a parasitic type of relationship. But we all know what parasites do. It only takes something from you without giving anything back to you. So maybe you have some people around you who need you to, I don't know, walk their dog, watch their kids. Others who may use you as the person that loaned them money. Others may want you as their club buddy or just going out to eat. And still, yet others may only contact you when they need help. And the unfortunate thing is that I've found that many people won't even see this as a problem, and they may even like being relied on by many. And this can be problematic if you don't have your own identity. Are you going to be that person where you look in the mirror and you see everyone who you help, who rely on you, who just take and take and take, who go along with what you want to hear because they don't want to be left out or because they need something from you? And the other part of answering the question of who you are focuses on really figuring out what you want to be in your tomorrows, figuring out what you want to be in your tomorrows. Too many of us are focused on our past to form our present, to form who we are, such as situations or circumstances or people and what those people did to us and what they said to us. Why is it? Why do we focus on the things in our past? Why does it seem like an automatic behavior for us, or even intrinsic type of motivation to worry about our past, like it brings us joy to focus on our past. Focusing on our past to form our present and our future is kind of like driving your car down the road while just looking backwards. Would you go driving down the road or down the highway by looking in your rearview mirror? It's okay to do from time to time, kind of sparingly, to see what you just passed or what may be approaching. But would you ever drive down the highway just while relying solely on looking in the rearview mirror? Uh, I don't think you should. Not smart. Similarly, don't form who you are based on your past or people in your past. It needs to be focused on who you are today, right now. Right now is the key. Right now leading to your tomorrow. If you focus on the now, you are likely, hopefully, likely to notice that you make the decision to allow your past to define your present and your future. You're likely notice that your yesterdays aren't as important as your tomorrows. It doesn't matter what happened to you, what event, what person or circumstance or situation is defining you or you feel is defining you. It's still your choice and how you respond or react going forward. I'm sorry, let me back up. Reaction is usually more of an instant unconscious response. This is usually oftentimes without thought and kind of seen as a survival mechanism. So while they're similar, reaction and response are different. You have some time to look those up. The more you react to something, the less empowered or in control you are of a situation. And the less in control you are of a situation, of course, the more you behave out of an assumption or guessing instead of facts. But anyway, it's your choice in how you respond right now in the future to what happened in your yesterday or what happened to your life yesterday. I get why it's so hard to let go of the negativity driven by your past, the circumstances, the incidents, the people in your life. Maybe your past is filled with repeat bad situations outside of your control. Things just happened to you. You weren't in control of it. Or maybe it was within your control. Maybe you keep making the same bad mistakes, same bad habits, same bad choices. Maybe. And it doesn't matter why, overall, it doesn't matter why you made those bad choices, did the things you did. Maybe your choices were driven by the people you're around, peer pressure. Maybe it's all you know. This is all I know, due to your upbringing or any number of factors. Regardless, you can decide. It's up to you to focus on the present and who you want to be tomorrow. Or you can, like many that I have conversed with, come in contact with, you can focus on the present and who you want to be tomorrow. Again, or you can focus on, again, like people I've talked to in the past, you can focus on the past. And I don't think that's very smart. We need to move from what used to be to what is. Move from what used to be true about myself to what is true about me in the present and what will be true about me in the future. Say that again. So we need to move from what used to be to what is. and move from what used to be true about myself to what is going to be true about me. I believe it was, who was it? Oserman. I believe it was Oserman who stated something to the effect of our identity provides meaning to us and focuses our attention on some of the features of our or on our immediate surroundings. It was something along those lines. Don't hold me to that. But in other words, the lens at which you view yourself may be linked to what you currently are connected to in your life. Look up Ozzy if you have some time. From this perspective, your self concept or how you view yourself is based on your identity. An identity formed largely in part because of what the people in your past have decided for you. I want to pause for a moment and get off track kind of. I just thought of a problem I've noticed too frequently, the problem of letting others define us and letting them define us with their negativity and how it impacts people for years, months, years, decades, even. Those people, and you all need to believe in yourself more and believe the negative things you are told about yourself less. So believe in yourself more, believe in the negative things less. Tell yourself you are better than those negative things. Tell yourself that you are special, even if nobody else has or will. And while it's nice to hear positive things from other people, you may be more likely to accept their negative words about you more so than their positive ones. This is referred to, I think, it's negative bias or negativity bias. It's a phenomenon that explains why we are more likely to feel the power of a chastisement or rebuke more than we feel the happiness of hearing words such as congratulations. It's why a traumatic event, a bad incident in our past can have a long-standing effect on us. It's why we think about negative things more frequently than positive ones. It's I don't know, folks. Again, you gotta tell yourself you are capable, you are worthy, you're the leader, not the follower. You're the head, not the tail. You're smart. You're able. You're special. Tell yourself whatever you need to hear to offset the negativity that may surround you. You must tell yourself, yeah, tell yourself that even if other people are speaking positively in your life, and again, it's okay if others do speak positivity into your life, but it's important that you do it as well. That you speak positive things over your life, and you got to believe the positive things about yourself. You have to tell yourself, not just other people, because it may be okay, but you're more likely to accept it to believe it if you're telling yourself that same thing. For instance, I have a daughter in elementary school. Although she knows that I think she knows that I tell my little girl that she's special, that her daddy loves her, and I wish I had her sooner so I could have loved her longer. It doesn't matter if she doesn't believe it and say these type of things to herself because it could be just kind of lip service if she doesn't believe it herself. So it's important that I tell her, but she also has to believe it and tell it to herself as well. Kind of doesn't matter what I feel about her. She has to believe it. She has to look in that mirror and see what she is, not who I say she is. So even if that's positive, she has to accept it. And then and only then will what she sees in the mirror be accurate. Kind of getting back on track now. So the past, the present, and the future. What's more important? What do you all think is more important? The past, the present. The past is one side, the present and the future is the other side. What's more important? What you did or what you're going to do? What's more important? What you did or what you're going to do? That you fail or if you're going to get back up. Again, the past or the present and the future. Are you going to choose your past or your present in your future? Your what I did or your what I will do? Your I messed up or your I'm fixing it? Your you don't know what happened to me or what I've been through or your I refuse to let what happened to me define my present and my future, to to hijack my future, to keep me down. Your your excuses kind of disguise as rationale out of my control situations, or I accept responsibility and will do better because there's no excuse not to. So, what do you want to be in your tomorrows? What does that person in the mirror look like to you? Do you recognize that person? Does that person looking back at you resemble what you think it should? Or does it resemble the thoughts, the opinions, the belief manifested by others? If it does resemble what others say, then in a sense, you really don't exist. I don't know, folks, but believe in yourself, admire yourself, understand yourself, and know yourself. I again ask that the question that's central to this particular video. Who are you? Do you know who you are? If you do, then congratulations. If it's like many of us, we may think we know who we are. We may have an idea of who we are, but it may not be reality to all. Thank you for those who have watched this video. Thanks to those who have subscribed already. And I ask those who are watching and haven't subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'll check back soon for my next video. This is Dr. O signing off.